Greetings and welcome to another edition of the Community Defender Talk Show, one powerful hour of truth, dispelling falsehood. I'm your host, Brother Darrell Muhammad, and we hope that you enjoy tonight's program. We're going to be talking about a very important topic, a broad topic, but very, very important, and it's the state of Black Louisiana. We want to talk about the condition and position that Black people are in the state of Louisiana, where we all are residing. Of course, I do know and I have great respect for those who are outside of the state, Black people who are outside of the state who like to catch us online. We mean you no disrespect, and of course, it's probably similar to where you live, but in the state of Louisiana, the very, very rough statistics are very bad in the state of Louisiana. Louisiana is like last in education. I think Mississippi has passed us up, and I think we're number 50 in education. And of course, you know that Black people, Black children are in a lot of these what we call failing schools. So we want to deal with the state of Black Louisiana and delve into some things. Now, I wanted to talk about, which to me is the main issue, is the issue that all Black elected officials need to be concerned with as it relates to Black people in all 50 states. But in what I was able to research in the article I came across, it said Black residents in Louisiana are incarcerated at disproportionate rates. No duh. Making up roughly 32 to 33% of the state population, but approximately 66 to 68% of the prison population, which is one of the highest disparities in the U.S. This racial imbalance is driven by a system with deep historic roots leading to overrepresentation in jails. All right. Now, historic roots, they're talking about racism. All right. Key facts regarding Black incarceration in Louisiana. Disproportionate representation. Black people represent 67.8% of Louisiana's prison population, the second highest proportion in the nation. Life sentences. I want y'all to check this out. The disparity is even more severe for life without parole sentences, where 3/4 of the recipients are Black. So right now, the life without parole is being given to us at 75% of the life without parole is being given to Black people in the state of Louisiana. And of course, Black youth are placed in adult prisons at much higher rates than the white youth are, at much higher rates. They're more likely to throw our young people in an adult prison than they are anybody else. A lot of times they will throw them in there at 15 and 16. There was a brother who was in his 80s who had been in Angola since he was 16, and he was actually in his 80s at the time. And he had been there since he was 16. So you're looking at he had been in Angola for about 70 years. 70 years. And we have to ask the question, when is enough enough? Black people are incarcerated in local jails at 2.4 times the rate of white people, according to earlier studies. Louisiana has historically high overall incarceration rates, which heavily impact Black communities and are perpetuated by strict sentencing at times and limited parole options. Now, the thing is that we know that there was a watering down of the sentencing that a lot of people in the congressional, the legislative Black caucus fought for years and years. Some of them said that they had fought for those reforms for around 12 years. Some said 16 years that they had actually fought for those reforms. And right after, and understand that they had saved, according to the advocate, $152 million in such a short period of time simply by letting older offenders out and allowing more parole. And there was not an appreciable increase in crime and an increase in recidivism or anything, but they reversed it because that is where they want to invest their money. That $152 million, they don't want to spend it on education. They want to spend it on incarceration. A lot of times, and I've said this before, people ask the question, why would they spend money on prisons when it's much cheaper to educate you? Because they don't want to educate you. They want to incarcerate you. You know, it's like asking somebody, why is he spending more money on a Rolls Royce when he could have got a Toyota? Because he wants the Rolls Royce. That's why he's willing to spend more money on the Rolls Royce, because that's what he wants. And the thing you have to understand, and all of us have to realize, is that Louisiana is extremely overtly and covertly oppressive to its black citizens. All right, if you can call us citizens, but the black people that reside in Louisiana are under some significant scrutiny. And now we are finding that if a person does too much good for the community, and the local authorities can't charge him, you just get the attorney general to go to a grand jury and get an indictment. And so there's a lot of publicizing about a brother being indicted on what looks like a bunch of BS to me. But again, I'm not gonna ever, and I'm gonna say this ever, whenever the enemy is attacking our brother, never chime in with the enemy. Never take the side of the enemy against your brother. Okay? Never do that. Always stay on code, black people, because some of you, in the name of objectivity, have indulged in stupidity. Do not get online or in the public and make crazy statements against your brother when a racist attorney general is attacking your brother. Understand that all of those state troopers that beat Ronald Green to death, none of those white folks got online and said anything against the people who beat him to death, even after the video came out. They were all lined up together, all working with the cover up together, and then they were even able to appoint a black to help to cover it, and so that no justice would be given to Ronald Green or his family. So again, if they're on code, I want you to hear me clearly, they have a code, then I would say that we need to have a code as well. Not because they have a code necessarily, but because it's the way we should function. We should function in such a way that there's a code of ethics. And that code of ethics has to be that we look out for our brother before we look out for another. All right? Real simple. Easier said than done for a lot of us, because a lot of us have just been trained to criticize anyone or anything black, or to try to distance yourself from somebody that the enemy is attacking. Y'all did it with Bill Cosby and all these false accusations against him, and yes, false accusations against him, and yes, false accusations against him. You say it was 54 women and 54 liars. Yes, liars. You don't figure out that a black man grabbed your butt in the 1970s, and you just figure it out a few years ago. That was a bunch of baloney, a bunch of BS, and a lot of people, a lot of institutions that he had donated money to, distanced themselves from the brother who was their benefactor because white folks were attacking them. That is an Uncle Tom situation. Okay, that is a weak situation where you are disavowing the struggle of your ancestors. Now, don't forget that Martin Luther King was indicted and went to trial over some financial stuff, some tax stuff, money that he had collected that he was utilizing for the movement, and they weren't able to find anything on him. He was eventually acquitted. But look at the money that was spent. They tried to break his movement with a false accusation and indictments. Okay, Alabama, the state of Alabama, the Attorney General of Alabama indicted Martin Luther King, just like the Louisiana Attorney General is indicting people now. They did it to Dr. King. They're doing it to people now. None of us should be fooled by this. Okay, it's a bunch of BS. And with all the consulting contracts for $250,000 or more that they just deal out like cards at the casino, when you go to the Metro Council meeting, it is unbelievable. Okay, they deal it out like cards at the casino. Now, I wanted to also now, brother director, I don't know if you have queued up or you can queue up that very short clip of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, which I believe is apropos for the moment, based upon those things I just said. I believe it will be apropos for the moment. Did you have a wait? Do you have that queued up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and run it. It's only about a minute and a half, but I think it's going to make the point that needs to be made. All right. And I want y'all to listen to what the Honorable Louis Farrakhan is saying, because this is the kind of leadership that we need, and we need to realize what we're up against as a people. Go ahead and
The FBI and New York police departments are facing new calls to finally open their records related to the assassination of Malcolm X. This comes after the release of a deathbed confession of a former undercover New York police officer who admitted to being part of a broad New York police and FBI conspiracy targeting Malcolm. In the confession, the former officer, Raymond Wood, admitted he entrapped two members of Malcolm's security team. On Saturday, Ray Wood's cousin, Reggie Wood, read the letter.
It was my assignment to draw the two men into a felonious federal crime so that they could be arrested by the FBI and kept away from managing Malcolm X's Autobahn ballroom door security.
At least one other undercover New York police officer, Gene Roberts, was also inside after infiltrating the security team of the Organization of Afro-American Unity, the group Malcolm founded after leaving the Nation of Islam.
All right. Now, that clip was not the clip we were looking for. That was going to come later. But do you have that other one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But that was a good clip, though. That was a good clip. And I appear to be frozen on my side. I don't know
It might be on your side.
what's going on your side.
I'm going to run the video. It might be on your end because I'm not receiving.
Okay.
Let's
Sounds
play this
good.
video. Let's see.
Be together. This ain't no damn unity party with punks. This ain't no unity party. People who don't want the true liberation of black people. This ain't no unity party with betrayers and snitchers and hypocrites and weak-minded, weak-blooded, spineless black people. This ain't that kind of party. So you take your raggedy ass on home. But those who want liberation, those who want to see black people really free at last. You walk away from these punctified Negroes unless you unite the like-minded of us whether we are Christians or Muslims or nationalists or agnostics or socialists, if we are like-minded on reparations and on justice for our people, we are brothers indeed. But a black face ain't gonna make you no brother today. Go ahead. We tired of these black-faced, white-hearted niggas masquerading as though you love your people. We see you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, there you have it. That was, of course, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and really, that's where we are. That is where we are as black people. You can't unify with those who are not attempting to do those things which would cause unity, which is what? Being loyal, loyal to their own people. All right. Now, I want to. Are we looking good, brother director, on your end?
Yeah, brother, you're frozen. You might have to come back in. I will put the graphic on unless you just want to just speak. You're frozen. You might have to disconnect and come back in. It seems that
All
an
right.
issue on the internet coming this way.
Okay. Well, let's see. I'm wondering how I would do that. Let me see.
Well, you go come in. I'll put in a clip again if you want.
Okay. Well, it's looking like we're going to have to, but based upon my computer skills, brother director,
Yeah.
because I did not anticipate that. But what we're going to have to do is, I guess, keep going. That's what is likely that we're going to have to do. I wanted to mention this right quick.
Yeah, they're hearing you fine. They're hearing you fine, but that's just the
Good
video
deal.
is
Good
just
deal.
not coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's one of those things, and just like there was a lot of technical difficulties when we were in the original studio at the Community Defender, you know, hey, now that the technology has improved, we still got issues.
Yes, sir.
So,
So they're hearing you fine.
good deal, good deal. All right. So anyway, I wanted to mention this. Looking at the income of black folk in Louisiana. Now, all the median household income for all homes in the state of Louisiana, taking everybody as an aggregate, is $59,290 for all. For whites, the median household income is $71,077, and for blacks, it is $38,897. All right, so now the highest income, median income for blacks in this area is in Baton Rouge, where the median income is $46,000 per household. Now, did somebody trying to call in?
Yes, I think we have Brother Adrian on the line.
Oh, yes, sir. Go ahead, brother Adrian.
Look, I know the
Go ahead, brother.
I know
Go ahead. We can
that
hear you.
we talking about the state of Black Louisiana, and it's amazing how is it that nobody can come up with ideas or solutions to help uplift the state of Louisiana, but it's amazing how people can come up with prisons, chemical plants, and things of that nature. Never put money into schools to help artistic programs, to help arts and culture. But the thing that we need to do as a community is not just vote, but we also need to create an economic base by supporting black businesses so we can have an economic base as well as secure independent black politicians. Where Sid Gittrell, who can arrogantly say, hey, look, what we're going to do is go after all of the black elected officials, not in those words, but saying people who run certain districts. That lets us know that we're never safe unless we secure and support each other.
Brother, you're right on it, brother Adrian. I couldn't agree with you more. Our unity will solve 90% of our problems.
The
90% of our
first
problems,
issue,
brother. Go ahead.
I said, the first issue we have to address blight in our community. We have to address all the poverty in our community. In Baton Rouge, they're tearing up a lot of roads, but they're not finishing them because they're trying to prolong. And the excuse that's being used is that we're not able to finish the work in a readily fashion because we would run out of work. With all the blight in our community, with all of the poverty in our community, you can have work to develop roads, develop infrastructure for the next 30 years. But we have to force people and make it a priority.
Bro, you're right on it, brother. You are right on it. Now, with the current makeup of the council, and of course, Lafayette Parish has similar issues. St. Martin Parish has similar issues. So we're all in really the same boat, or in being played the same game. What do you think we need to do or can do with the current makeup of where you have a majority black city that is run by a white mayor and a white police chief with a white sheriff, and the city is a chocolate city? What do we do with something like that?
What we do with something like that, number one, when we have candidates, we got to stack the deck. We got to run 2 to 3 candidates per seat. And so therefore, if candidate A or candidate B or candidate C or whatever don't win, we have a candidate that we can run when we stack the deck. Those are things that was done in Detroit, in Chicago. We need to look at those things. So we need to stack the deck with more candidates.
All right. Hey, I can look. We're talking about the state of Black Louisiana. In case you've just tuned in, we are having some video issues on our end, some technical issues. Those things have persisted. I would imagine for the past 27 years that we've been doing the community defender. But again, the truth is going to be put out here. It's going to be discussed. It's going to be dealt with. Now, I wanted to mention again that black people are 67% of the incarcerated. Now, we're not 67% of the crime, but we are a large portion of the incarcerated. And what happens with a lot of these various districts, these various judicial districts, most of the people that come through there are indigent, meaning they don't have any money. They're dealing with a public defender that has 200 other cases. And so a lot of this stuff is such that the DA doesn't even have to work, because he doesn't even have to really fight a lot of real lawyers, because everybody is a public defender and the public defender is swamped. A lot of times it's not that the public defender is a bad lawyer, but when you give somebody hundreds of criminal cases that they have to deal with, how well are they going to be able to look at each one of those cases? So you already handicap these people. These people are already poor, and you already know that the typical case, the typical criminal case to handle it it can easily be $25,000 or $30,000, sometimes $40,000, depending on what it is. And when you got a median income of $38,897, our people cannot afford to defend ourselves against this wicked system. We just don't have the money, and you can be falsely accused, so on and so forth. We've had cases here in Baton Rouge, cases in Lafayette Parish, cases in Calcasieu Parish, where we know that dope was planted on people who did not have dope. but because they were poor, they could not adequately defend themselves against the false accusations of demonic people with a badge. That's what we're dealing with also, okay, in the state of Black Louisiana. Now, just looking at this thing, because I want us to think about this. The average value of an occupied housing unit in the state of Louisiana, brothers and sisters, the average value is now $282,805. Now, if you have the dream of owning a home where you can have your front yard and a backyard, and you're working like hell for a lot of these low wages, so either you have to make low wages or you have to go into a chemical plant and catch cancer. You know, those are a lot of times your options in the state of Louisiana. Now, $282,805. When you look at what the note on that would be, it's a situation where when you're making 38,000, just under $39,000 a year, for the median household income for a Black family, how are you going to be able to afford that $2,100 note with the insurance for the escrow? And then, I mean, you could easily be at $3,000 a month for a decent 4-bedroom, 2-bath house that may not even be 2,000 square feet. So when you look at how does the average Black family reach what they call the American dream? They have made it, the way that they have structured the economy, they have made it nearly impossible. So again, when you take into account all families, $59,290 median income for all families, which is a low number. When you compare the rest of the country, the number is higher. When you consider the education, the underfunding of education, the low quality of elementary and secondary education in the state of Louisiana, the low pay of teachers. You understand? The teachers are in poverty. Okay, so how do you get out of poverty when you got teachers that are living in poverty? It's just a question. Feel free to call in with your answer. How do you get a people out of poverty when college educated teachers are in poverty based upon what they're being paid and the size of their families? Again, $71,077, the median household income for white folks. We are a little bit more than right at around half of the income that
Brother
Black
Darrell.
families get.
Brother Darrell, we got a
Yes,
phone call. Can we take this phone call?
let's go ahead. Let's go
Go
ahead and
ahead.
take that
Go ahead,
call.
caller.
Yeah, good afternoon there, Brother Darrell. Glad to see that your producer letting callers come through today. But look, you said that you mentioned about the condition of the Black people's position. Technically, you got to blame your Black politician that always go against us. And I heard one of your callers call in and say that we have to stack the deck. We don't own the deck of cards that these white people play with. We got to get out of the system. And the name of your topic is the state of Black Louisiana. But you got to understand, white America is suffering without Black people. Black people, look, I'm proud of y'all. Y'all doing good. Stay away from these people. They need us to survive. We got to stop playing with them and stop compromising with them. Because as you see, every culture of people that tries to mess with Black people, they start to fail without us. And all we got to keep doing is staying alert and alive and stop getting so scared when these white folks think that they can ruin us. We still here for a reason, because we are the original people. They cannot do nothing about that. But if we keep playing in their governmental games because we see some black faces that want to get in high places, that when they get in those places, they start doing this worse than the white faces. We got to start our own thing. Brother Jay, Brother Darrell, y'all mentioned about unity. Was our community, not theirs, not the other ones that white, and I'm talking about the black people who always want to validate, get these white folks validation of, we got to do this, we can't stop now. Yes, we can, because we never started with these people. We've been being used. And until we wake up and realize, without us, there is no them, they're going to suffer. Because their great white hope, Trump, is making them suffer right now. They can build all the prisons they want. They can build all the juvenile detention they want. But it's hurting white America more. And they are the minority, black folks. That's why they keep us in jail. That's why they keep us incarcerated, because they know they cannot stop us. But it's our own black people that's doing it. Wake up, get out of this system, and we're going to live. We're going to survive. Let these white folk fight. Get y'all some popcorn and enjoy the show, because now they're eating each other. Black folks, I'm proud of y'all again. Keep doing what y'all doing, because it's White History Month, and I mean White History Month, that white people get to learn about black people in these 28 days, and they only want you to know about the nonviolent one, Dr. King and Miss Rosa Parks. There are no black people that didn't put up with this. Thank y'all. Have a nice night.
All right. Thank you.
Well, to speak to what the caller said, I mean, we do need to learn about Nat Turner and the Deacons for Defense. There is another side to black people and our resistance to the oppression. So I would have to agree with the caller on that, because the Deacons for Defense and Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, and others, and we need to know history so that the bad aspects of history, we will not repeat those horrible aspects of history again, because they keep doing the same thing. In the 70s, as we were rising, they dropped heroin in our community, and they put Superfly on the movie screen and put the pimping out there, and had our women, I guess, styled as harlots, and with the Superfly thing, and they made what they call black exploitation films to divert us from a revolutionary thought, and at the same time they dropped that heroin on us in the community, and that hit us hard. As we were becoming conscious again in the 80s and 90s, they dropped the crack on us again. And so they keep doing very, very similar tricks on the black community, and then criminalizing the epidemic that they start. So if anybody knows anything about the government and the crack epidemic, it was started by the Reagan administration. That's why we call Ronald Reagan Crack Daddy Reagan. It was started by the Reagan administration. And that's what we need to understand. It was started by, and then so now they have put you in jail for their epidemic. Their epidemic. Supposedly, they're blowing up drug boats, but at the same time, if you watch 60 Minutes, the FBI provided 50 planes to the cartel. Okay, and they also have submarines. They're not really bringing it in here on boats.
Brother Darrell, we
They
got a phone
already
call.
know, and
Got
the
another phone
government
call.
already knows that they're flying it in here, and flying it in here by the ton, and they're driving it in here a lot of times on 18-wheelers. So all of this stuff that they're rolling with is a bunch of BS. But go ahead, caller, you're on the air with the community defender. And I do apologize for our technical
Great
difficulties.
caller. Great caller.
Yes, another good program. You were talking about this state of Black Louisiana, which the state of Louisiana is just completely pitiful. You have this young man who was no more than 37 years of age, who was killed at Angola State Penitentiary. They want to claim that there was a fight that broke out, and it was but they believe there was no use of force. However, the two officers that beat him to death are also the same two officers that killed another guy 2 years ago, and that in itself, is pitiful. These no good police officers, correctional facilitators, they are the scum of the earth. How could you continuously beat somebody with locks and kill him, and then you got the audacity to say, oh well, he attacked the guard, or he is not doing they believe it was a cardiac arrest. Well, what caused the cardiac arrest? And you see, Brother Darrell, that same Angola State Penitentiary, that same no good Angola and with the rodeo, they make billions of dollars off the backs of inmates that are making like 10 cents an hour, 5 cents is taken out for tax, and plus they got to pay extra tax. There's no audit. So for the weekends that the rodeo is being played, sponsored at, these white boys and these white women, they are stealing the state of Louisiana blindly, and they have continued to do this. And so we need to put another eye out and let people know, y'all gotta pay close attention. These men and women that are incarcerated, that's our family. They don't deserve to be treated like the animals that the ones that's supposed to be protecting them is killing them simultaneously. Thank you.
Yeah, and I would want to say to that there's a reason that a lot of these prisons are in very remote locations. They're in remote locations for a couple of reasons. To make it more difficult for them to maintain a connection with their respective communities. They want to make it as difficult as possible. And they want them out of the way so that we don't think about them. So that they're not on our mind. They're so far away. They're way down a road. They're over here in the Felicianas. They're somewhere back in the piney woods in North Louisiana. They're somewhere out of the way. And the idea is for you not to think about them and think about what they may be going through. Now, if you've ever met incarcerated people are people, to put it real simple. Many of them are very nice, very generous, very loving people. And a lot of times the difference between them and someone else is a lawyer. One person had a public defender and is doing life, and the other one had a lawyer, and the charges would drop. It's just that simple. A lot of times it's not what they did, it's really what they had and who they knew a lot of times. So we have to understand that, comprehend that, because incarcerated people, it could happen to anybody. And as a person who has been pulled over and had a gun pointed to his head and called the N-word, I have no felony convictions, but yet I was about to get my brains blown out. We are all in this thing together. Whether you got a PhD or not even a JD or not even a GED, we are all in this thing together. The system views us all as the N-word. That's what we got to get in our heads, okay? And we got to minister to one another and do our best to help incarcerated people maintain a connection to the outside, maintain their sanity so that they can get through what they have to get through and be ready to come back and to make a contribution to society that will be positive. And it is the case for the vast majority of inmates. They try to make it seem as though everybody that gets out comes right back, but the vast majority of people that are released never come back. Okay, you got to go look at the real statistics. The vast majority of inmates that are released and go back into society stay in society. Many of them become homeless. Many of them get jobs. Many of them struggle for a while. But a lot of them, through homelessness and everything else, they maintain their morality and they eventually work their way up. It's amazing what many of our brothers and sisters have been able to build themselves up from. It would blow your mind. If a lot of these people told their story, it would literally blow your mind what a lot of our people go through. Now, what do we do with these very, very rough statistics? What do we do in a situation where we have the average place to stay is $282,000 and the median income, household income for blacks in the state of Louisiana is $38,897? And the idea that you could believe that with the worst education, with very low income, we might be 49 or 48th in income. I don't think we're quite as low in income as Mississippi, but our incarceration rate is not as bad. Is much worse than what we have in Mississippi. So in most areas, we're lower than Mississippi. And Mississippi used to be 50, but even in education, Mississippi has passed Louisiana in education and in test scores. So we gotta lay that out there. So what do we do as a community? Looking at the state of Black Louisiana, what should we do? Where do we go from here? Now, the previous caller is looking at the strategy of disengagement politically, and then just allow, in words, them to implode without us. Now, Martin Luther King did the same strategy with the Montgomery bus boycott. We disengaged. The bus company was about to go out of business, so they begged us to come back into the situation. All right. Looking at that strategy of disengagement, because we are pivotal to the society. Okay, every time you stop at a red light or a traffic light, we invented that. All of what we're looking at now, the stuff that makes video conferencing possible, those algorithms were created by Black mathematicians and computer science. We wouldn't even be able to do Zoom and other things were it not for Black inventors, black people. But America, and Louisiana specifically, and America in general, doesn't give a damn about our contribution to the land. We do, but they don't. And so is this situation of disengagement the way to go, since our engagement has been so fruitless to a large degree? Because the caller may actually have a point that, hey, maybe we should just disengage and get our popcorn. Of course, I wouldn't do popcorn. I would probably do cherries or something, or seeded grapes, as a snack and watch. But there's another content creator by the name of Philip Scott, who says that black people just need to get out of the way. As Trump does what he's doing, we as black people just need to stay out of the way. Don't involve ourselves in immigrant stuff. Don't involve ourselves in other people's problems. Just get out of the way and focus on black empowerment, black upliftment, and put our energy to that. So a lot of people are moving in that direction. Very, very influential people are saying that. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the same thing. You can't really play the political game and win unless you're unified and you got a good person. But for the most part, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, "Hey, you can't play his game of politics, or you'll be forever trapped as a slave." And I know that a lot of people, even a lot of black people, are waiting for the midterms, waiting for the next election. And I will be 59 my next birthday. And hey, the next election, you know, I've been around so many elections, and election after election after election has come, and things have not gotten better unless we put some pressure on folks. You know,
Brother Darrell.
uh, yes.
Yes, I wanted to make a statement in what you were saying. Gladys West, speaking of the black inventors, Gladys West just passed at 95 years old. She helped invented the GPS system. She worked for NASA at one point. And when you talk about the political game, there's something Tupac said years ago. He said, I sold 3 million albums. Snoop Dogg sold 2 million albums. That's 5 million votes. And he said that during a political election year when Bill Clinton was running for the election against Bob Dole. Now let's look at that in terms of money. Three plus two that's 5 million times 10, because CDs and cassettes at the time were $10. So that's $50 million that potentially those black guys had control over. That's one of the things that got him killed. So when you talk about playing the political game,
and it was just
we got to look at that in the terms of economics as well.
Absolutely. And when integration happened, all of our hotels and gas stations closed down when we could go to white ones. And a black designer, a lot of the young ladies want a $7,000 Chanel bag or a $25,000 Birkin bag, and they would rather have a Birkin bag than 5 acres of land. So if you get a Birkin bag, if you go to Mississippi for the price of a Birkin bag, you could actually get about 10 to 15 acres of land for the price of what a lot of us want to buy a purse for. And if you could go to North Louisiana for the price of a Chanel bag, and you could get 2 or 3 acres of prime land. So for the price of a purse, that you could grow food on. So a lot of times we as black people do have some misplaced priorities, particularly when we are chasing Caucasian designer names rather than the freedom we're supposed to be attempting to achieve, the self-determination that we're supposed to be attempting to achieve. And so Brother Kevin brings up the idea of independence all the time, doing our own thing. And this is what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad advocated. This is what Marcus Garvey, or the Honorable Marcus Garvey, advocated as well. But it was something that a lot of those in leadership just wanted to be made more comfortable in their slavery.
Brother Darrell, we got a phone call.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take this call. It'll probably be the last call, but go ahead, let's take it.
Yes, caller, go ahead.
Yes, good evening, Brother Darrell. Hey, look here, I would like to chime in on some of the things that you're talking about, the Chanel bags and the different things that we buy. If we learn how to control our economics, control our wants and control our needs, we'd be a different person, a different culture of people. One thing we have to learn is control our wants, because our wants are greater than our needs. And when I say our needs, we need to learn how to get our food economics together, get the things that we need in order to function, and not the things that we are buying. Because some of us buying clothes that don't fit us, and we're still trying to put them on. Some of us go buy clothes that are so raggedy, and you're gonna pay $100, $200 for the raggedy clothes. And those are the things that we need to learn how to control in our wants. Go buying horse hair and synthetic hair and eyelashes that, you almost need a jack to hold them up and things like this here. Those are the things that we need to learn how to control our wants. Those are our wants, not our needs. And if we start controlling our needs better than our wants, because all our wants take more than our needs. So, in other words, our people, black people, need to learn how to control the economics. And if we start controlling the economics and get rid of our wants and put more focus on our needs, I think we'll be a better culture of people. And that's just the way it is. Thank you, Brother Darrell. You're having a wonderful show.
Man, that was a very intelligent comment. Unfortunately, we have probably spent more money on Gucci last year than we did on education and books, which is unfortunate. This media hype has really diverted a lot of our people away from those things which are important, like God and family, and into the superficial thing. This superficial thing where you don't feel like you're enough, so you add this, you add that, you add another tattoo, you add some more lashes, you go somewhere overseas to get a bigger butt, and you wind up dying of complications. All of these things are absolutely crazy. But we're gonna have to, as a brother once said, we got to keep throwing bricks out there in the graveyard, and we'll wake a few people up. I want to thank everybody for bearing with us with our video problems. I want to thank everybody who has supported the community defender over the years. We started this in July of 1999, and now it is the year 2026. So that should let you know we've been here for a long time. I want to thank our producer, thank our director for their steadfastness in believing that we could deliver the truth and heighten the level of discussion here in the state of Louisiana. So we have about another minute.
Yes, sir.
Okay, man, that's what I'm talking about. We got another minute. Well, I wanted to also hopefully we will have this problem corrected next week. But I appreciate you hanging with us through this. And next week we will be dealing with the issue of education in the state of Louisiana and all over America. I will likely have two guests on with me for the next show, but we're going to deal with the issue of education, which is another very important issue that our leadership needs to get on top of. Y'all have a good one. Thank you for tuning in to the Community Defender, and may God bless you and your families, and may He continue to bless us in 2026.